Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm standing out here in the middle of the ocean, slowly drowning myself because today we're gonna go deep into Ponytown lore. We're gonna dive deep, if you will. And of course, we're gonna talk about all the lore elements and things that seem like lore but might not be, but also probably is. And we're of course going to come up with a theory on Ponytown and its lore. So the reason why I'm making this video is because recently I did a video talking about possible locations for Ponytown buildings and stuff like that, and I mentioned how this area right here is probably never going to have a building because it contains Ponytown lore, and then I mentioned another spot that had lore and stuff like that, and a handful of comments were very confused by what I was talking about. They're like, Ponytown has lore, or Ponytown lore, and stuff like that, and they understandably have every right to be confused by this because there has never been like a proper mention of Ponytown lore and stuff like that. There is technically Ponytown lore, and I'm honestly not sure if I'm allowed to talk about some of it, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. What's the worst that could happen? But we're going to talk about the Ponytown lore, at least the lore that I know of, and we're going to go through everything. So starting with this area right here, I have been told before that this is considered a shipwreck, and it is part of the Ponytown lore. So you have a shipwreck here with some barrels and boxes and stuff like that, and it seems as though that ship was trying to sail to this island, and it somehow crashed into this little spot right here where this character is for whatever reason, and it crashed right there, and bits of its boat's parts, I don't know. Bits of it has flung out everywhere and scattered about. As you can see, there is bits of the boat just scattered here everywhere. Some of you have probably been confused at why this is here in the first place. Some of you are probably like, oh, it's just random beach junk. There's always beach junk. You know how it is, which is really sad when you think about it. But the reason why this is all here is because these are parts of the boat that crashed here or wrecked here, and it's just remnants of it that crashed who knows how long ago. But that is why all of this wood is here. It is a Ponytown shipwreck, and it is considered actual lore. So moving on, if we go all the way over here to the docks and teleport ourselves to the bottom by going to this boat right here. That's right, this will teleport us to the bottom, fast travel style. I'm not exactly sure what this lore implies or whatever like that, but if we continue to go down here, this is Ponytown ruins. These are ruins of what used to be here. Who knows what used to be here? I don't know what used to be here, but there's dandelions here now, so we can pick up dandelions and blow them. This is Ponytown ruins. Now, what I really hope to see at some point in the future is this to actually be reworked into proper ruins and not just random stone walls and rocks and stuff. But this is Ponytown ruins. Now, I don't know what that implies. I guess it implies that there used to be a civilization here a long time ago, or a town, or some kind of castle. Who knows what it was at some point, but there used to be a building here of some kind, and it has long since been destroyed and is now in ruins. Does this mean ponies have come from a distant land to come here and they discovered these ruins, or have they been here so long that there is ruins now, and who knows? That is the other bit of lore that we have in Ponytown. So let's move on to a Ponytown lore 2.5. So if I go up here near the top of the map, we got to keep going, so I'll talk to you when I get there. There is people here, but the stone-walled off area and the other stone walls and stuff like that are also probably considered ruins or something like that. I feel like that's the case because the other thing was ruins and it was like stone walls and stuff like that. So it feels like this would also be stone ruins because it's not necessarily like it doesn't make sense to be there. There's no reason that there'd just be random set of stone walls here unless it was ruins and stuff like that. So that is like a lore 2.5 thing, and that's not anything that has ever been confirmed or anything that I've ever been told. It's just something that I kind of figured would be the case because it of course has that sort of lore type element. But something else that is Ponytown lore and is confirmed to be Ponytown lore, the third thing on this list, that's right, we're going from 2.5 to 3. That is this area over here where the cave is. Now, we of course have, if you look here closely, you can see how there is a short tree here, a short tree, and then short tree, and then short tree, and then short tree, and so on and so on. It looks very cloney or very spammy, if you will, and that, as it turns out, is actually an intentional thing because these are cultivated trees. These are trees that the people that I guess exist here and live here have planted themselves and have been cultivating and growing and stuff like that. So that that is Ponytown lore number 3, but moving on to Ponytown lore number 4, we again move into things that aren't necessarily confirmed or anything, but we have the entirety of the caves. That's right, the entirety of the caves also implies that there is people that are coming from a distant land here for opportunity and have been discovering ruins and stuff like that while building a town. So this would obviously be something that they come here and they start mining and they find treasure, and the treasure, of course, is these little crystals and stuff like that, which you can probably assume is a very rare thing or something that you're not going to get in many places. I feel like that is more part of the lore where it seems as though characters are coming from a distant land to travel here, and they went here for opportunity, maybe to be free or something like that, or something, who knows. And along the way, they discover ruins. They discover that people used to live here a long time ago, and they don't know what to do with that stuff, but they're going to build a town anyway because they want to build a town, they want to live here and stuff like that. And then to build the town, you're going to need some materials. So they start cultivating trees, they start growing trees to get for materials and stuff like that. But they also need like minerals. They need stuff like iron, you know, and they need stuff like copper or whatever else that you might dig in the ground and find. And so they start mining, and of course they end up in the caves and they find these weird blue crystals and are like, holy shit, what is this stuff? And so they start collecting it and they use it as a value. They use it as currency, and of course they start trading it and using it in all of their crafts, including this weird cool crystal lantern thing that you can do, which I find very interesting and potentially part of the lore as well. So that, I think, is more or less the story of the game. And the shipwreck, if you're curious, is probably just like, oh, some of them came here and didn't make it. That is all the lore spots except for one more. There is potentially one more, and I don't know if it's a lore spot or if it's some other thing, but there's technically more than one spot like this. But if we move around a lot, you can find them all over the place. Let me see if I can find one real quick. There is a lot of people here, but this is another thing that you can assume is possibly part of the lore. As you can see, there is a rock here, and then there is a circle of rocks just surrounding this single rock. Now this could be like a stone circle or something like that. There's even a rock right here, but there's people in the way. But there is a stone circle of rocks, and that is potentially part of the lore as well. Perhaps this is, again, a type of ancient ruins or some kind of ancient system that was in place a long time ago, and it is only now being discovered. Now, again, that's not anything that's ever been confirmed or told to me, but that is what it appears like. And there is multiples of these stone circles, but there's these stone circles everywhere, and that could also potentially be part of the lore. Who knows? But these are all the things that I have that I think are lore, as well as things that I've been told is lore, such as the shipwreck and the ruins and the cultivated trees and things like that. Those are the only things that have been confirmed, but everything else is more up in the air. Is it Ponytown lore? Maybe it's not, maybe it is, but if you ask me, it most likely is. See, here's another stone circle right here. It's very interesting. I wonder if this is going off of the Ponytown lore thing, and I'm gonna go on a tangent here, but what if these little stone circles are them marking where they're going to put buildings or where they're going to put a specific thing? Because if that's what it is, that's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be shocked if it turns out that these stone circles are actually just markers for them to put stuff later. And that'd be a very funny little thing to end up happening. But again, another stone circle. They're all over the place. It's most likely part of the lore, but we can't be sure about that. So there you have it. That is everything I have here to share with you about Ponytown and the lore, the potential lore and stuff like that. And I do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this little basket, by the way, is also technically lore, because someone was out here picking berries and then they dropped it and ran away. Who knows? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.